Good morning again, and welcome to the 2017 Life Insurance Sales Training Webinars, sponsored here from Messer Financial. We are doing something a little different this year in that we're bringing to your attention techniques and attempting to assist you in your sales rather than just bringing to you product knowledge. So today we do have a guest speaker, Shar Thordelson, who is the sales development specialist with North American. And because Shar is going to be able to give you direction in your client categorization, that has enabled her to be a part of this webinar series. So she also will be bringing to your attention additional training in the near future, as well as we're mixing it up with presentations by myself and again other carrier representatives, provided they are able to help you, assist you in your sales efforts. A couple of basic house cleaning points for this morning. Again, as always, let's try to keep those phones on mute. We would ask that any questions you have, you add to the question box. And at the end of the presentation, when we address those questions, is also when we're going to download the handouts from today's presentation so that you can either save them or print them off at that time for yourself. And again, what we're attempting to do this year is during this training series, the vital information that you're bringing to your attention, we're making available to those of you who have taken the time from your business week to join us. So we're going to assist you with that information. So with all that in mind, let's get started. Shar, good morning, and thank you again for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. Today is, I'm glad to hear the plan that Mark is of topics that he's bringing to you, because you don't really need to dive into a product detail until you find a client that you can sell to. And provide a need, satisfy a need that they have. And so today's topic is you already have a bunch of clients, and we're just gonna help you sort them into different categories so that you can really separate them and then divide and conquer, and present different sales ideas to them. And of course, you need to determine if there's a need there. And then we're gonna start to talk about what you could use to help satisfy that need. And of course, we're not getting into products today. We're going to talk about sales concepts, which are going to tie to the needs that these clients may have when you ask a few questions. And it's really a process of discovery. So with that in mind, I want to start with just a little story to kind of help put it in perspective of what we're doing here today. You're meeting with your clients day in and day out, year after year, to help them with the current, offering that you provide. And I understand that probably many of you on the call are health insurance agents, first. So these clients come to you probably on an annual basis, and you renew that. But what if there's other things you could be helping them with, but you only ever talk about health? So the story starts, just that you don't know what you might find right under your nose. And so that's really what I'm drilling into you today. So here's a story I want to share with you. It was just about a year ago. It was May last year that there was a 600-mile long coral reef that was discovered at the mouth of the Amazon. Now, why was this just discovered in May of 2016? Well, maybe nobody was looking for it. And the reason why they weren't looking for it is because the waters were cloudy. Assumptions were made that with murky waters or cloudy waters, that there could no way be a coral reef underneath there, because in order for a coral reef to exist, most people think that there has to be an excessive amount of sunlight due to this relationship of photosynthesizing the algae. But really, the biggest reason is nobody was looking for it. because of those conditions. And so think about, let's relate that back to your clients. Your clients are coming to you for health insurance or annuities or PNC. They're coming to you for that, but they may have other needs. And if you're not asking them, and if you're not understanding better their picture of their whole picture, not just the immediate needs they come to you with, you might not realize that there's other needs that they have that you too could help them with. So let's ask ourselves this question. What is keeping a specialized financial professional or a health agent or a PNC agent from selling life insurance today? Well, there's a variety of reasons why you might not venture into that because health may be your specialty, obviously. So you might feel like you don't know enough about life, but let me hit on just a few bullet points as far as what are some of the common reasons why somebody might not sell life insurance? Well, there's an underwriting process. You might not fully understand that. It's not, that it does take a little bit longer. It's not just transactional. We may have to order medical records to better understand the risk that we have at hand with this client. Um, you might not understand the life insurance product, and that's okay. You're associated with a, MGA such as Messer Financial. They're going to be able to give you the product details. You can present them with your client, and then they're going to help you sort out and determine which product and which carrier would best be for your particular client. And sometimes it's an agent or a health agent, a PNC agent, because you don't really understand the life side of it. You might not know which questions to ask. And so that's something else that we're going to share with you today is some additional questions that you can ask to help uncover these. One, another, I, another thing that you as a agent might think is you might feel like you might lose your client if you start presenting other options. But really, I would say the reverse is probably true. You're probably going to strengthen the relationship that you have with that client because you're offering them something more. And if they knew that they could get this additional, say, life insurance from you, they wouldn't have to go seek out somebody else. Or when somebody else asked them about it, they wouldn't say, "Boy, I wonder why my health agent never asked me about that." So really, I really think that you have some of these clients that you're already dealing with for health insurance that if you would just ask a few more questions, you might find an opportunity for a life insurance sale right under your nose. So that was really just kind of to help us get started. Let me go ahead and tell you how our agenda is going to lay out today. We're going to first review a process of qualifying your clients into four different segments or corners, if you will. Then we're going to go ahead and discuss several of the sales concepts that are relevant to each of the different financial professionals. Now, I'll focus more on the health agent or the PNC agent versus I do have a slide in here for an annuity producer and then for a financial advisor. Then we're going to spend some time just letting you know some of the marketing tools and resources that we're going to have available for you to help you through this process. Once you identify that you have a client that has a life insurance need, now what? All right. So with that, let's get started into what are the different segments or corners that we're gonna sort our clients into. So here is basically the four corners. We're don't think of each client individually. I mean, you have to initially to put them into one of these segments. But if you can sort them out and put them into these different categories, then you can really hone in on a certain concept that would likely benefit all of the people that you put in this segment. And then you can kind of proceed down that path until you've exhausted all of those avenues, then come back to a different category. So really what you're doing here is you're going to look at all of your clients and you're going to decide which one of these segments would be best to categorize them into. So they're broad markets to consider. You will find that some of your clients are going to fit into more than one category. So we really would encourage you to choose the category that's most appropriate. So here's an example of that. You might have a successful business owner who's also considered a high income earner. And as a result of being a business owner who earns a high income, he would be considered a wealthy family. But since he owns a business and since his business is going to impact his income and his wealth, the immediate needs that you would potentially be looking at there as the most important would be the fact that he's a business owner. So you might want to segment him into that category first. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't come back and address concerns that are identified for these other corners, but really that's going to help you just put your clients into one of each of these categories so that you can move forward. So let's go ahead and we're just going to take them one at a time. So a wealthy family is going to consist of somebody who is typically looking at a net worth of 2 million or above, um, with clients that have cash flow to address additional financial objectives that they might have. Now, the different sales concepts that we'd be looking at for somebody of that status is, passing that money on to their family or even a charity. So at the bottom here, you're going to see some of the concepts that I'm bringing to light as far as would be a good fit for this category. So legacy building, smart money is usually it's kind of like the legacy building where you do an asset transfer, but then they still have access to some of that money. Or just the estate building, having the policy that's going to pay the death benefit upon their death to help pay for the estate taxes. So you can see here, usually they're at 2 million or above, and that they're usually going to be in the age bracket of 55 and older. So again, you may have some clients, not all of them are going to fit this category, but there's probably some in your client database that you can put into the wealthy family category. Look at the next one, high income earner. Now this might consist of your professionals, such as doctors, attorneys, executives with companies. Their household income is going to be 100,000 plus. Anybody in that category, in that income bracket would fit here. Now these individuals are probably 55 and younger, and they have a need to plan for college for their children. They also want to plan for their own retirement. And so what you can see here as far as sales concepts that we can utilize life for is the retirement planning, the college planning, but first and foremost, income protection. At the 55 and younger age, and earning a six-figure income, we need to protect that income for the rest of their family. So looking at, and I think I've been on here before just to talk about that simple first step type of a sale for protecting one's income is you take their current income and you look at their age and how many more years they have of working. We have a nice one-page grid, which I can share with Mark, and if that's something you want afterwards, that's in our income protection kit. But it's nice, you just, how many more working years, you come down if it's 20, and you look at how much income they're currently making, how long do you have to protect that income? It'll tell you what death benefit they need to protect that. And that could be as simple as a term sales, a term solution. So you're not getting into an index policy and talking about all that, but it could be a simple term sale. Now, again, whether it's term or it's an IUL, it's still the same application. It's still going through underwriting. It still is taking a paramed and labs, and it's still potentially looking at us ordering medical records. But to protect that income is very important. And so first and foremost, but these individuals are also going to be concerned about, do they have enough money saved for retirement? Where can they put money to help their children for college? And another simple way, question for you to ask when you're sitting down with your clients is do you have life insurance in place now? Could I take a look at it? Could I review it? Could I see if it is the new type of life insurance or the old? And when I talk about new or old, we're talking about, does it have the new living benefit? Are there additional, living benefits haven't been around that long, maybe 10 years for us anyway, where you can access the death benefit while you're still alive for chronic illness or critical illness or terminal illness. terminal illness has been around for a while, but asking to review their current policy and see if there's an opportunity there, that also is a great way for you to get some information from your client and then work with the team at Messer Financial to review the policy together to see if there's an opportunity to improve it. Um, of course, they have to be able to go through underwriting, and you want to be able to make sure that they're insurable. You certainly don't want to offer them less or something, or and you certainly don't want them to cancel a policy before a new one's in place. So all of that you're keeping in mind, but you can see what opportunities we might look at here for a high income earner. The next quadrant of our qualifying, our database, is any of our clients that own businesses. Now, businesses can be a little bit hard to get going in the beginning, so we do recommend that you consider them as a business owner once their business is a little bit more mature. And we would say probably at the 3-year mark, it would kind of be through all its highs and lows and cash flow issues initially. So you do want to look at your business owners that have gotten into a positive cash flow situation. These could be businesses that are S corp, C corp, partnerships, sole proprietorships, all of those types of businesses. Now, what you may or may not realize, and where the opportunity presents itself, is that when you find a business owner, and some of these smaller ones, they might have, they um, if their employees left, it could be a big hindrance on their success of their business going forward. So they are the sales concept that we have for business owners is they can insure their key person if their key salesman left. That could impede their sales, and so being able to cash in a policy, a key person policy is going to usually have cash value, or if that key person died, say in a car accident coming to work one day, that death benefit or the cash that they could get from that could help them until they could find a replacement. A buy sell, maybe they're in a partnership. It could be two friends that are in a partnership, and let's say they're men. I mean, and it's a car or auto something, and when something happens to one of the male owners, does as a car business, does he really want to be in business with his best friend's wife who doesn't know about cars? I mean, that's how it would be for me. I wouldn't know anything about cars. So, so a buy sell can help protect that if something were to happen, that you don't end up in business with your business partner's spouse, because that's who it will go to. It gives you the opportunity to buy her out then and keep the business. Executive bonus is a way for them to offer bonuses to some of their key persons or their executives in the company as a way to retain them and to offer retirement opportunities for them. So it's a way they might not be big enough or to set up a 401k, but they can use a life insurance policy to set up a bonus structure for them. And then, of course, policy review. Policy review is something you should be asking all of your clients, no matter what quadrant they fall into. It's a door opener for you to start talking about life sales and to uncover if there is an opportunity. So always ask, do you have life insurance in place for your business, for personal? Would I be able to review it and see if there's anything that could be improved? If you're already providing them other great service and they know and trust you for whatever else they're coming to meet with you for, you definitely have a right to ask for that. The worst they can say is no, but if you don't ask, they're not probably going to offer it up. All right, the next and probably the most common quadrant that you're going to be able to put your clients into is family planning. So this really covers the rest of the group, I would say. If they didn't already fall into one of the other categories, the business owner, the wealthy family, or the high income earner, everybody else should probably fall into family planning. And so, this is somebody who is married or has a partner. They usually have children, but that doesn't mean that for couples that don't have children, their dependents would obviously be their children, but it could also be maybe they have a disabled sibling that they're responsible for taking care of. Maybe they have elderly parents that they're taking care of. So you can see that the range is much broader for this category. And their household incomes are usually lower, between 50 and 100,000. They're really orientated to their family, and so replacing an income at death to protect that family is very important. So we already touched on a previous screen about income replacement, just knowing how old they are, what their current income is, and years till retirement, you can look and see how long do we need to protect that income. And like I said, that could be start with just a term policy. And being able to, if you could go a step further, as a family planning, they might want to also think of ways that they can help their children attend college or to provide assistance for their elderly parents. So building some cash value that they can take out later. IULs are a great way to build up cash and take it out and access it tax free by way of a loan from the policy. So so again, I encourage you to really, when those clients are in front of you, ask them about their current life insurance policy situation. Do they have it? And if they do, would they allow you to review it and see if you could suggest any ways to improve it? Of course, if they're uninsurable now because of their health condition changing, the current coverage that they have is probably, you don't want to mess with that. You want to keep that there. So here we have our four quadrants just all together here from how we went through and broke them all out. Let's just start up in the top left-hand corner where we have our wealthy family. These would be some questions that you could ask. And I can share this slide with Mark too, because this would be maybe something that as you sort out and your client database into these categories, these could be questions that when you have your client in front of you, you start asking them. So for the wealthy family, how do you plan on leaving a legacy? Do you have funds set aside to do this? And where is your smart money? Smart money, just real simply, if you want to jot this down, how I would define it, because they're going to say, oh, what do you mean by smart money? It's money that maybe they just inherited from their own parents passing away, and they don't necessarily need it for their own retirement, but they don't really want to lock it up somewhere else, tie it up, because they're like, what if I do need it? So they want to have access to it, but if they could turn it into a tax-free death benefit for their heirs, they would probably like that idea. So we have a product that can help do that. So smart money is, they're probably not earning much interest on it, but smart because they want to be able to access it and not have it tied up in penalties. But if they could make it even smarter by leveraging it into a tax-free death benefit that could pass on to their heirs if they don't need that money, that would help with leaving a legacy. So let's move down to the business owner. Which employees would be the hardest for you to replace? Um, do you know how to protect your ownership so that you're not in business with your partner's spouse? And what will happen to the business if something happened to you? Those are some door opener questions. Let's move to the top right, high income earner. How are you protecting your family's lifestyle? You're earning six figures. Your family is probably accustomed to that, so asking that. Do you have a secondary retirement plan to provide flexibility at distribution? High income earners have probably maxed out their company way of putting money away for retirement. There's limitations on that. And so if you could offer them a life insurance policy where they could put extra dollars away and that could be accessed before retirement, maybe somebody wants to retire at 55. Maybe you're talking to a 40-year-old and they want to retire at 55, but they don't want to take their retirement plan until the 65. So you could help provide an opportunity for that time in between. So that's an opportunity for a question there. And then lower right-hand corner, family planning. And this question really could be in every single one of these quadrants. When's the last time you reviewed your life insurance policy? That's your door opener for getting your hands um, uh, on their current policy situation and taking a look. Are the types of insurance that you purchased before, or the amounts, are they adequate? I mean, if they're still holding just a $100,000 policy that they purchased 10 years ago, and now they make a whole lot more, or have more children, have a bigger house, it's usually people need to add to their insurance. So that could be the other thing, is that you don't necessarily replace what they currently have. You might just add to it and give them another policy. Um, and then, are they aware of what life insurance cash values can help them fund? And so that's things like we've been talking about. Could it help send a child to college? Could they take money out of the policy when a child goes to college? Could it help them with some um, un, unforeseen expenses if they have cash value? Could it help them, avoid going to the bank to get a loan for their car if they have enough cash value? They could borrow from themselves and pay themselves back. So there's a lot of opportunities there, and so it's just a area that you should start discussing with your clients, because, like the story I told at the beginning, you never know what you might find under your nose if you would just start asking some questions and seeing how they respond to it. And if you've already earned their trust, with the other services that you're providing, then I think you owe it to them to see what else you can do for them. So the sales concepts, now I touched on those previous slides, but I'm gonna go through. We're gonna spend a little bit more time on the property and casualty slide, and then the health and Medicare professional. Just because I think that's who, from Mark, that I understand the majority of the audience is here. So here's what we're looking at. Um, if you're a PNC agent, so just walk with me here for a minute. You either have business clients or you have personal clients. So you might insure their business, or you might insure their home and their auto. So let's go down the right-hand side, because that's probably the most common. You insure their home and auto. So the easiest concepts for you to talk about there are, you know, policy review, reviewing what they already have, or income replacement, making sure that their income is protected. On the left-hand side, business owners, if they own a small business, maybe they own a small um, car repair, oil change shop, in addition to them being your client, ask them about, this opportunity for a buy sell. Maybe they're in business by themselves, and or with a friend who, who's going to be, what's going to happen to that business when something happens to one of them, and are they planning enough for their retirement because it's a small business? So think about them. So really, the what you're going to get out of that is, they're already in front of you, you're helping them with additional needs, and it's going to strengthen their relationship with you. Annuity producer, we got index annuities or fixed annuities, and you can see that that will lead into different types of concepts based on where the client is putting, what type of annuities they have. So I'll just kind of move through that one. The financial advisor, if they can offer additional ways for them to get tax-free income, they're going to talk to them about these types of concepts. So let's spend a little more time on this next slide, understanding that many of you are health agents. Um, the opportunity for you as a health agent, look at that second bullet, living benefits. One of the products that you may be selling your client is a long-term care policy to help with their long-term care needs. So we offer chronic illness on our life insurance policy. So I'm not saying instead of what you're offering, but have you had any clients that don't qualify for long-term care? They still may qualify for a life insurance policy, and as long as they get approved at a table 4 or better, and they're age 80 or younger at the time of application, then the living benefits are going to be included in there. So then they could have some access to, uh, we call it chronic illness, where they can accelerate their death benefit for their chronic illness. It triggers a lot like the long-term care, where if they can't perform at least 2 of the 6 activities of daily living or have that severe cognitive impairment. So just one thing for you to keep in mind there, when you do run into some clients who might not qualify for that, they might still be able to qualify, or I say might because I have had several situations where they still are insurable from a life insurance standpoint, that then they can get the living benefit that way. So talking about that, and then of course, reviewing policy, income replacement, and legacy building. So those three concepts that are listed right there. I know we've covered income replacement on these calls in the past. Doesn't mean we can't do it again. So if you're interested in learning how simple an income replacement conversation could go, I would invite you to give that feedback to Mark. Also, if you'd like to have a little bit more information on how to do kind of a policy review and what you could do with that, that might be an opportunity. And then legacy building, people who have a sum of money, or maybe they want to make payments to for a guaranteed death benefit that will pass to their heirs. Those are some of the more simplest sales concepts, and they really hit the target of you as a health agent. What would be easiest and probably most important to your client. So let's just touch on some of the tools that we have. Obviously, the agency sales team, which would be Messer Financial, they would be your first line of resource. So, like I said, if you can get anything from your clients, ask them to send you a copy of their policy or maybe their last, maybe they don't have an annual statement because maybe it's not a UL or an IUL. But what kind of premiums are they paying? When is their term going to run out? What kind of, if you can get some of that information, you certainly can bring that to Messer Financial Group, and they can kind of help you work through what the situation might be, how you could improve that. There's a North American sales vice president for the Southeast region, which is Gary Proco. He travels. I think he's been to the Messer office. I don't know if there's ever an opportunity that he can be there and speak. I would really recommend that you try to attend if you can. He was an agent in the field, although it was primarily as an annuity producer. He didn't let those life sales pass him by. And so he can really speak to you as a producer. How can you work this through, and how can he make it as simple for you? um, North American marketer to marketer, that's me. I'm here because I am the internal marketer for Master Financial Group. So here I am providing a webinar to you. I can also do some one-on-one training. If there's several of you that would like to get a small group, a study group, we certainly could do, 3, 4, 5 people on a phone call, and we could work through some of this stuff together. So if you'd like more hands-on training. I also take the role of the marketer to agent. So if you become newly contracted with North American and you'd like a little bit extra TLC and hand holding and training in your first 90 days, by all means, I can help you with that. As far as the tools and resources that we have as a company, this playbook that's pictured here, this is a probably 20, 30-page playbook, has each one of our sales concepts in there, which ends up being about 12 or 13. And some of those questions on the previous slides, a few slides back, that I showed you that you might ask the wealthy family, do you plan on leaving a legacy for your heirs? Or the business owner, what would happen to your business if you weren't here tomorrow, or if a key employee? It's when you open up this book, there's a 2-page spread on each one of our concepts, and it really breaks it down play by play, thus named the playbook. And it gives you a list of some questions, the right questions to ask your client, or the right words to use when describing this to your clients. So that is something that could be useful to you as you try to sort through and determine, how do I present this to my client? What words should I say? What questions should I ask? So that's a very important piece. And so I would reserve that, I guess, at this point, to be distributed by Mark for the agents that are contracted with us, because it's a great tool. But it's something that we can work through too on a one-on-one basis to get you going. Um, Sales kits, each one of our concepts has a sales kit. So there's going to be a fact finding sheet that you can use to jot down information that you need to know in order to assess that situation. There's a case study. There's an explanation of what the concept is, like retirement planning or college planning. We also have videos. The videos are housed on our YouTube channel. And so a YouTube channel is public, that consumers can get to it, and you can share those with consumers. So think of them like a 2-minute or less commercial on college planning or retirement planning or income replacement. Those are great videos to either put on your Facebook page um, to share with clients, or maybe you email. Maybe you, as you identify some of your clients into these quadrants, you start emailing out a link to a video and say, "Hey, Mr. Jones, I was thinking about you. That you're a business owner, and I just want to make sure that you're adequately insured from a business perspective, as far as what would happen. Watch this video, and then I'm going to give you a call in a week, and I want to talk about it. I want to see what you think about it." Or the retirement planning one. "Hey, Mr. Jones, thinking about you, want to make sure that you're adequately prepared for retirement. Watch this short video and give me a call and let you know what you think, because I'd love to sit down and talk to you." So those videos can be used like that as a commercial, or maybe even as you sit down with them. Maybe you didn't email it to them ahead of time and you just play it on your computer when they're sitting across your desk. So we've also got postcards you could mail out to your agents, or excuse me, to your clients, because you're the agent. You can mail out these postcards, but we don't recommend just a mass mailing of them. So we recommend that if you are going to utilize our postcards, which the one here on the top with the hot air balloon is about retirement. So the wording on there, there's a little bit on the front and a little bit more on the back, but it's really, are you prepared for retirement? And then what you could do is, as you address it and send it out, know that you're going to follow up with that client, maybe a week or so after you mail it out. Say, "Hey, I sent you a postcard, because I really think that we should sit down and talk about your retirement plans and how life insurance, or I have a new idea of something that could be beneficial for you, and I'd like to sit down and talk to you about it." So those are all of the materials that we have available. So just real quick, let me summarize, and then I know Mark will probably help summarize too. But if you the idea today was to divide and conquer. So don't think of all of your clients as a whole. Instead, let's try to send them to this quadrant if they're a wealthy family, this quadrant if they're a business owner, this quadrant if they're a high income earner, and then everybody else is probably going to fall into that family category. And that way you can really zero in on one, and fine tune your process. And as a result, I think that you're going to see some significant income potential for yourself with the commissions that you can earn on the life insurance. We touched on, I gave you really brief ideas of sales concepts, but these are how you're going to grow, not only yourself and your agency, strengthen your relationship, and grow life insurance sales and commission opportunities for yourself. So you don't have to learn them all at once. That's why you divide and then you conquer. And so whether it's, I would say, just from this discussion and knowing who most of the audience is here today, the policy review and the income replacement is where you start. You take care of those needs first. When they say, "Hey, I'd also like to put money away for retirement or college," then you come back and we'll meet with that again. Or we can look, take it a step further and design that. And then just showing you all of the tools and resources that we have. We're here to help and support you to make this successful. So the bottom line for your client, you've got additional solutions that's going to help them meet all of their financial objectives. For you, you have a process to qualify your current clients and offer them life insurance opportunities. So with that, I would encourage you, with the materials that they're going to share with you after today, is to think about qualifying your client database into those four. Maybe just go through the list first and pick out, I would pick out for those three other categories first, because I think the biggest category you're going to have is that family planning. Or if you don't want to do the whole client database right now, why don't you find 10 clients or 5 clients that you can plug into each category, so you can kind of start to build on that. Maybe as you meet with your clients now, then you can keep adding them to that category, so you have a next conversation to have with them. And then choose which one you're going to prospect first. Again, for a health agent, I think starting with something simple as far as the income replacement, that's probably what I would recommend for you. But obviously, do what you feel most comfortable with, or what's going to be most benefit to your client. And then schedule time with the people at Messer Financial. Let Mark know what additional concept training you'd like, and get that going. Do some self learning too, as far as how can you help them with that. So really, that's what I had for you today. I hope that you found the information to be helpful, empowering, motivating. I hope that'll spark you to do something extra for your clients, because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to swoop in and do it. So strengthen your relationship and bring something else to the table. Mark, I'm going to turn back to you.
Hey, again, Shar, thank you very much for contributing to the program that we are designing for this year in an effort to enhance our agents' capability to generate sales. And in the program, as Shar mentioned, I probably will always do a little quick review. And the bullet points that I've taken, of course, begin with the qualifying database, the 4 quadrants, the divide and conquer concept, which is very basic and allows you as an agent to begin to differentiate what needs your clients may have. She brought up, as we have discussed in an earlier presentation this year, the importance of raising that question to get in the door and do a policy review. There's absolutely nothing better than to get in and see what they have and know where you can go from there. If that is a situation that you're not comfortable with, something you've never done in the past, get the policy, bring it back to your office and give us a call. Or if you're local, call me up and come on by and we'll review it together. So that's something, again, we're going to put more and more emphasis on as we continue with these trainings. The questions that you need to ask, that is where your sales concepts are coming in again today. It's going to give you the latitude and the comfort zone to know, what do I say next? How do I do this? Well, once you ask the question, that's going to open the door. And Shar did a great job today also to try to focus on both the health agents that we have and our P&C agents that are attending this program today. Most importantly, as also was brought to your attention, in order to take advantage of the many sales tools and training available to you through North American, the first thing you need to do, of course, is get contracted. So if you're not already an appointed agent with North American Life, please get on the Messer website, go across to the agent resource bar, drop down to the contracting tool online, get your contract started, get it sent in, get yourself an appointment. And then again, if you're really brand new, take advantage of the 90-day sales training that's available to you with all of the enhanced benefits that Shar can answer. You'll also note on today on the side of the screen, we've added the download of information provided by Shar. And again, because you've joined us today, this is going to be available to you only. The actual session will end and the access to that information will not be available. So we'll take advantage of that. And also, before I leave today, I want to make sure you understand where we're going. I hope you are discussing with more of the agents you're familiar with or friends with, or perhaps are on your downline, the importance of trying to attend these sessions going forward. We have already gone through an entire program where we used tools available to you through the Guaranteed Trust Group to ask the right questions, to work with that over 65 market and enhance their protection. And also he went through some great sales techniques, including closing techniques. We've also come back and started last week with a basic understanding on sales of making the initial contact. We provided you with scripts and letters for mailing purposes to contact the clients that are already in your portfolio. Of course, today now we're taking that group of clients that you know about and we're beginning to categorize them. Next week, I hope you're available again, because we're going to go through the health questionnaire. We're going to provide that proprietary document to you from Messer again at the end, but we're going to start to learn what's involved in basic underwriting. Then on the 12th of April, we're going to come back with a class with the guidelines enabling you as an agent to determine what rating is very possibly going to come back from the carrier. So you're going to learn some basic underwriting. We're going to take a break April 19th for the Easter spring holidays, and we're going to come right back in April with the needs analysis. So again, we're going to dig further into that client and have a tool available to you, a tool that's also available through North American, and I'm going to talk more on with Shar on her fact finder. And actually, we're going to follow that needs analysis up. I don't know, maybe I didn't tell Shar, but Shar, take a look on your schedule for May 3rd, because I've got you scheduled to do the income protection presentation. So again, we're going to come back.
Now? All right, I'll check.
Please, let's see how that works out. And then again, to everyone here again, what we're trying to do, and I think Bill was pretty amazed or impressed when I told him earlier this year, I said, I think we can make this run for 26 weeks, Bill. There's enough information to share with you as agents to enhance your techniques in selling that we hope you do want to come back every week. We hope you do get appointed and contracted with the carriers that are going to justify the products for the needs that we're going to discover. And we're going to also limit that down. We don't need to have 25 carriers. There are carriers like North American that have products that are great for the needs that we have with our clients. They're the competitive edge. Those are the ones we want to focus on, and that's one of the reasons we have Shar with us going forward. And again, thank you very much, Shar.
You are very welcome. Thanks for having me.
And then, as you can see on the side, again, in that column, you've got the downloads of the PDFs. So once you open one up, there's the one on the qualifying that database to the business owner. Many of the things that she discussed in a very nice little handout. Maybe you start putting together a little training booklet. Also, if you go on down to the next one, you'll see that each one of those are there. Open them up individually, download them yourself to your portfolio, and you'll have all of that information again available. So I hope I haven't lost everyone. I hope I haven't disconnected and signed off. If I haven't, thank you. I hope you're here with us next week. And again, Shar, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Well, we're still live. We'll talk again later, Shar. Thanks.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.